The first thing I noticed after putting the Apple AirPods Pro 3 in my ears was how natural everything felt. I didn't have to spend time adjusting them or wondering if they were sitting correctly. They settled into place almost immediately, and within seconds I found myself paying attention to the sound instead of the earbuds. That was my genuine first impression, and after using them every day for work, commuting, workouts, and relaxing at home, I can confidently say this experience continued well beyond the first few minutes. This is the Apple AirPods Pro 3, and after spending plenty of time using them across different situations, I can clearly see how Apple focused on refining the entire listening experience rather than simply making everything louder or adding flashy features. Nearly every improvement feels practical, and most importantly, I notice those improvements during normal daily use instead of only in carefully controlled situations. One of the biggest differences I experienced was the new active noise cancellation. I had already been familiar with previous AirPods Pro models, but this version immediately felt more capable of dealing with unpredictable sounds. During my commute, train noise, traffic, conversations, and sudden high-pitched sounds faded away much more naturally. Instead of creating an artificial silence, the earbuds made noisy environments feel calmer without making me feel disconnected from everything around me. Adaptive audio also impressed me far more than I expected. I usually switch between transparency mode and noise cancellation depending on where I am, but with the AirPods Pro 3 I rarely felt the need to change anything manually. The earbuds constantly adjusted themselves based on my surroundings. When I walked into a quieter space, the listening experience became more immersive. When more environmental awareness was necessary, the transition happened smoothly, without distracting me. It simply felt intelligent instead of trying too hard to show off its technology. Another feature I found myself appreciating every single day was conversation awareness. I was initially skeptical because features like this often interrupt music too aggressively. Instead, whenever I started speaking naturally, my music lowered instantly while outside voices became much easier to hear. As soon as the conversation ended, everything returned to normal without requiring any interaction from me. After several days, I realized I had completely stopped thinking about it because it worked so consistently. The sound quality itself felt noticeably more refined. Vocals sounded cleaner and more detailed than before, especially in acoustic tracks and podcasts that I usually listen to while working. Mid-range frequencies carried much more presence, allowing instruments and voices to separate beautifully without sounding overly processed. Bass remained powerful but far more controlled. Instead of overwhelming the music, it supported every genre I tried, whether I was listening to orchestral recordings, pop music, jazz, or electronic tracks. Every session felt balanced, and I never experienced listening fatigue even after wearing them for several hours. Spatial audio also received meaningful improvements. Dynamic head tracking felt more accurate, creating a convincing sense of space while watching movies or concerts. Rather than sounding like audio was simply moving around my head, it created an experience that felt surprisingly realistic. Small movements produced subtle adjustments that helped maintain immersion without becoming distracting. This became one of those features that I appreciated more the longer I used it. Call quality turned out to be another highlight. I tested phone calls indoors, outside on windy streets, and inside crowded cafes. Every person I spoke with commented that my voice sounded remarkably clear despite the surrounding noise. Apple's voice isolation processing deserves a lot of credit because it consistently prioritized my voice while suppressing unwanted background sounds. Even on windy afternoons, conversations remained comfortable without requiring me to repeat myself. Comfort has always been important for wireless earbuds, and the AirPods Pro 3 performed exceptionally well here. The redesigned contours distributed pressure more evenly, making long listening sessions surprisingly comfortable. I often forgot I was wearing them until I received a notification or paused my music. The silicone ear tips formed a secure seal without creating that uncomfortable pressure many noise-canceling earbuds produce. The updated vent system deserves recognition because my ears never developed that blocked or underwater feeling, even after extended use. During exercise, the earbuds stayed securely in place. I used them while running and during higher-intensity workouts, and they rarely shifted position. Their lightweight construction definitely helped because they never felt heavy enough to loosen naturally over time. Sweat resistance also gave me confidence to wear them without constantly worrying about moisture affecting performance. The charging case continued Apple's familiar approach of keeping everything simple while adding more convenience. USB-C charging made carrying cables easier since I could share one charger with several devices. MagSafe charging remained reliable, and the case itself felt solid enough to survive daily use inside pockets and backpacks without showing immediate signs of wear. Of course, no product is perfect. I still found the touch gestures on the stems required some practice. Adjusting volume with swipe controls occasionally caused the earbuds to move slightly, especially when my hands were sweaty after exercising. After becoming familiar with the gestures, this happened less frequently, but I still believe there is room for improvement. Battery life also depends heavily on how many premium features remain active. With noise cancellation, adaptive audio, and spatial audio enabled most of the time, I noticed the battery drained faster than if I used basic listening modes. The overall endurance remained good enough for my daily routine, but very long travel days still required placing the earbuds back into the charging case for a quick recharge. Another important consideration is Apple's ecosystem. I personally enjoyed the effortless pairing, automatic device switching, and personalized listening features because I regularly use multiple Apple devices. Everything worked together almost invisibly, creating an experience that felt polished and dependable. However, I can also recognize that users outside Apple's ecosystem will not experience the full value of these earbuds since many signature features remain exclusive to Apple hardware. One feature I genuinely appreciated more than expected was the hearing protection capability. Unexpected loud noises were softened before becoming uncomfortable, giving me extra confidence when walking through busy streets or crowded transportation hubs. It is one of those improvements that quietly contributes to long-term comfort without demanding attention. After using the Apple AirPods Pro 3 extensively, I feel they represent refinement more than reinvention. Apple focused on improving countless small details that together create a noticeably better experience. The stronger noise cancellation, smarter adaptive listening, clearer sound quality, reliable call performance, lightweight comfort, and seamless connectivity all combine into something that feels thoughtfully polished rather than simply packed with new specifications. I genuinely enjoyed using them every day because they never demanded attention. Instead, they quietly handled almost everything automatically, allowing me to focus on my music, movies, conversations, or work. While some advanced features remain most rewarding for people already invested in Apple's ecosystem, the overall listening experience reached a level that consistently impressed me throughout weeks of real use. By the time I finished testing them, I found myself reaching for the AirPods Pro 3 without thinking, and for me, that became the strongest sign that they had earned a permanent place in my daily routine.